Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite summer lipsticks. I realize there aren't really rules in makeup, so you could really wear any of these colors any time of the year, any time of the day, but something about these tones on just sun-kissed skin, floppy hats, off-the-shoulder tops, layered jewelry, just bring the whole summer vibes all together for me. If you've been keeping up with my videos, then you know I've been a huge fan of just this like vivid, punchy, red, orange type of color. So I do have several of those options in here. There's different formulas. Not only do I have these red oranges, just in case these aren't your vibes, there are some pinks and some more like subtle shades, but everything is definitely kind of bright and happy. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. But just in case you've never tried one of these shades and you've looked at it and you feel like it's a little intimidating, don't worry, I was there too. I was definitely always staying in like my safe neutral zone of like mauves and nudes, but just give one of these colors a shot. I think you'd be really surprised. Something about these just brighten up your whole complexion. I will say most of these choices are high-end. I've tried a few other like punchy orange shades from the drugstore and I've just never found a formula that I loved quite as much. So honestly, I'd rather pay a little bit more and just be really happy with the longevity, the actual color, and the formula. But there are a few good like gloss. Actually, no, I do have one really affordable punchy orange option. But I just wanted to give that a heads up. Most of these are mid-range to higher end just because those were the ones that stood out to me the most in my collection. So let's go ahead and hop right in. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the lipstick that I'm wearing right now. And I kind of have a second option just in case you don't want a not fully glossy, but more of a shiny finish. This is one of the Mercier Rouge Essential lipsticks. These came out a couple of months ago. Let me tell you, the formula of these are like butter. They glide right onto the lips, but they're not so slippery where they feather off everywhere. I'm not wearing a lip liner today and it just glides right on. It feels just pillowy and lush on the lips. It's very moisturizing, but I will say, since it is glossy, I already have a little bit on my teeth. If you have like super juicy bodacious lips, you might not have this problem, but whenever I smile, my top lip kind of like curves under on my teeth, so I will get a little bit of that on there. That's the only downside of this, but I'm willing to deal with it and just kind of like double check because the shade is so beautiful. That's another thing. With these vivid punchy oranges, I feel like they kind of brighten up my corn teeth. They don't look quite as yellow. I know some shades out there can sometimes bring out the yellow in your teeth. So if you have that problem like me, like team corn teeth, try out some of these colors. So this is a more hydrating, high shine finish. But if you want a matte version, but pretty much the identical shade, Smashbox Fireball is my jam. This is the color that kind of made me fall in love with this color category. Now, this next lip combo is definitely way more friendly on your wallet. This is one of my favorite combos from Colourpop. I started off with one of their lippy pencils in the shade Chi Chi. You could always go in with just this if you want to keep it matte, but like I said, whenever I wear these shades, I really just think adding a gloss makes it extra vibrant and happy. So I went in with one of the So Juicy glosses in the shade Aughties. Y'all told me before what this meant. I think it was something about like, instead of like a 90s baby, like a 2000 baby maybe? Maybe baby, something like that. I'm not quite sure, but this combo is so good. This is definitely more of like a coral orange rather than the red orange, but it is just as pretty. I love this combo so much. The formula of these glosses are so nice. I love that subtle minty tingle that you get. So there is a more affordable option for you. Moving on to the next lipstick. This is actually by a K-beauty brand. I really wish they sold this in store somewhere here in the States because this is a formula I wish you guys could feel. It is unlike anything else that I have in my collection. I spoke all about it in my June favorites and in a recent K-beauty haul. This has such an interesting gel wax hybrid. The way that it glides onto your lips, it feels like you almost have like a hydrogel mask on your lips. It's this interesting pillowy texture. That's the best way that I could describe it. I honestly don't have any other lipstick that feels like this. This is from the brand 3CE. It's one of their matte lipsticks. I have to say this and probably the Huda Beauty Power Bullets are some of the most comfortable matte lipsticks I've ever worn. This one is in the shade 220 Hit Me Up, and it is such an interesting orange. It's kind of like a burnt terracotta orange. It would work in the fall too, but I feel like it's just as pretty in the summer. This has become one of my all-time favorite orange lipsticks. If you are curious, I purchased mine on 𝗟𝗘𝗧, which they always have different sales going on. Sometimes there's like 60% off beauty, sometimes there's 80%. I think this lipstick normally ranges anywhere from like the $10 to maybe $16 range. So about mid-range or like higher drugstore if you consider like Pixie and whatnot drugstore. But if you are looking for the perfect terracotta orange that will last you not only through summer, but like fall, winter, spring, it's just such a beautiful color. I love this one so much. So moving on, we have one that's kind of like a gel stain. So if you are not a fan of matte lipsticks or sticky glosses or liquid lipsticks that are drying, this would be a great formula for you. It starts off really liquidy, but then you get a glossy finish for a while, but then it kind of just dries down to where you're left with a really nice popsicle stain. This is one of the Lancome 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦 lacquers, I think, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. This one is in the shade 142. Now there is a true orange in the shade range, but this one has just the right amount of red where I think whether you are really, really fair or really, really deep, this one just has the perfect undertone that I think would be flattering on so many different skin tones. But I will say, you kind of want to keep your mouth slightly open for a little bit to let that first layer dry. You're left with this beautiful glossy stain. It's so comfortable on the lips. There is a slight, it's an interesting scent. It's kind of like a very subtle, but almost like floral and fruity at the same time. This is so long wearing. You could go in and you can drink from a straw, you can eat a sandwich, and you're still left with a really nice, full, rich stain behind. My lips are taking a butt whooping and they're just like completely stained now. But if you are not a fan of the oranges and the reds and the corals, I have a really nice kind of like fruit punch pink option for you. Now, it doesn't have to be this exact lip liner because I know this one is a little bit more of a splurge, but I want to say it's maybe fuchsia. There's a very similar pink shade in the just classic wooden NYX lip liner pencils. I would have shown that one if I had it, but I went through all my lip liners. I could not find it. But just in case, if you do happen to love this one is in the shade Rich Mauve. It's one of the Laura Mercier longwear lip liners. Now, this is definitely easily duped at the drugstore. It's just a classic wooden lip liner. And then another So Juicy lip gloss from Colourpop. This one is in the shade Make It Savvy. I will say it's looking a little bit more orange in the center than usual just because I had a million other orange lipsticks on prior to this, but you can really see that really nice fuchsia pink shade on the outer corner of my lips. I just picture this with like bushy brows, gold hoops, off the shoulder maxi dress, and like a sleek bun. This is the perfect statement lip. It's beautiful. Anything glossy and juicy, I think more than anything, that's what I love during the summer. It just looks bodacious on the lips. All right, I do have two other pink options in here, and I did forget to share my more like subtle option when it came to the orange lips, and this is another drugstore lip product. This is one of the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Lip Velvet Finishes in the shade Tulip Treatment. So like tulip, like the flower, that's why I said it weird like that if you're like tulip. I overthink things sometimes, aka all the time. But if you still like orange, but you felt like those other ones were too vibrant, this would be one that you love because you still get that really nice red orange, but it's definitely way more toned down. These are some of the more comfortable matte liquid lips at the drugstore, and these are pretty long wearing as well. So as you can see, it's kind of more of a toned down, soft coral, right? Like a coral tulip. Still getting a nice and bright color, but it's just not quite as neon. I definitely think this is a more toned down summer color. All right, I actually mentioned the Huda Beauty Power Bullets earlier whenever I mentioned 3CE. These matte lipsticks are so comfortable on the lips. I prefer these way more than the MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks. I know a lot of people like those, but something about this formula I find to be a little bit more silky. This shade is called Spring Break, and as you can see with the lipstick on my teeth, this is such a beautiful pink. So you do get a nice matte finish with these without any of that like tightening and crusting and like butthole lip effect. Look how stained my lips are. I feel like I just need to like go over with a sponge once. They're still pink even after that powder and concealer. Okay, the very last lipstick I have here is one of the Velvet Blur lipsticks from Colourpop. I believe this came in the Sweet Talk collection. This one is called Super Bloom, and this is such a pretty vibrant pink. I'm really picky with pinks. Like, it can't be one of those like baby Barbie pinks. Those definitely make my teeth look like corn kernels. I am going to add some gloss on top of this one too. This is just the So Juicy gloss again in the shade Make It Savvy right on top. And there you have it, folks. There are some of my favorite summer lipsticks. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know some of your must-have summer lip shades down below. I always love to hear from you. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, I would love if you subscribe. That way you can catch up with some of my previous videos or tune into my upcoming videos. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with me, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.